things. I've lost so many important podcasts because of that board.
No, why haven't you? First of all, you should be looking for sponsors. Cheers, Miller High
Cheers.
Life. Aperol.
Yeah.
Lemons of the USA.
I should probably introduce you and why we're doing this podcast. So thank you for coming on, Carrie. Very much appreciate it. We're doing this podcast because we're doing a collab, Lonely Cowboy and Fox the Hen. We're wearing the sweatshirts. I'll do a little
We're dressed.
turn around.
We're in uniform.
I hope they can see that.
Perfect.
Yeah. And these will come out January 25th.
Sounds good.
I think that's the Saturday we decided.
Yeah.
But I should be looking for sponsors. Miller Life.
Miller High Life.
Miller High Life.
Champagne and beers.
Yeah.
Our favorite.
Me and my buddies always joked back home when I would do podcasts about the Bills. We always wanted Labatt Blue Light to be our sponsor.
I don't know nothing about that.
It's just like it's what we drink every day.
I mean, I know what Labatt is, but I guess you could say that a small town Idaho girl, we drink like hams.
Oh, nice. I like hams.
Yeah.
Hams is light. You could drink like 30 of those.
I'm all about the low ABV.
I was talking to Zach about this recently. I just started getting on the Guinness train.
Wow, it's advanced.
They're light. I could drink 50 of those and
Maybe
feel
if
fine.
I was blindfolded.
You don't like them?
No, I look, I guess, you eat with your eyes first. I'm like, I can't drink that.
Yeah.
I'm going to be so full. It's going to be so thick that I can honestly say I've had several gulps, if you will, of Guinness, but I've never put a pint down.
Yeah. Well, I put down a few pints the other night.
Low ABV. Let's
Low
go.
ABV, yeah. Well, let's get off of beer.
Okay.
Let's get on to the more serious topics.
Okay.
So you wanted me to read this book called Unreasonable Hospitality. You gave this book to Reese, gave it to Zach.
Gave it to Kelly.
Gave it to Kelly.
I've given it to several people you don't even know.
Nice.
Because I love it. Go on.
So, okay. I couldn't finish it in time, but I watched some TED Talks. I read some summaries about it. What about that book is so important to you?
I think that book resonates so deeply with me because sometimes in hospitality, the why is fuzzy. Why do I do this?
Yeah.
Why do I work long hours? Why do I get paid shit? Why do I get shit on? Why? Right? And then, every now and then you're reminded. And what Will Giardia did with that book, it was such a clear and very parallel to my own thinking of why. Why hospitality? Why not be a nurse?
Yeah. Why
not be, like a caregiver? And for me, my why in hospitality is because, I enjoy being social and I enjoy people having a good time. And I think that, that's ultimately my why. And that book, as of recently gave me the most current why. And, there's another book by Danny Meyer called Setting the Table that I'll give to you next.
Okay, nice.
And his why was equally as good as Will's. But Will's is current and in our face, right?
Yeah.
And he gave a voice to my why. And you guys as my team members at Fox and the Hen, I just really want you to understand my why. And maybe you could find your why in it as well.
Yeah.
So it's so inspirational and it makes me happy. And I found myself smiling several times throughout it. What about you?
The summary that I just watched, do you know who Patrick Bet-David is?
Mm-hmm.
He does a kind of business forward podcast, but he's very well educated. Whenever he talks about a topic, he comes with sheets of paper and research. So he's
well read.
Yeah. But anyways, he was talking to Patrick Bet-David, and the hot dog story is what kind of caught my attention, which is crazy because like it's such a simple thing. And for those of you that don't know, basically this dude, Will, right? That's his name. Someone was at his restaurant and they were talking about
11 Madison Park.
11.
His restaurant. Number 1 in the world, everybody.
Yeah. They were at his restaurant.
At 11 Madison Park.
And this group of people visiting the city was talking about their culinary experience and how they didn't get to get a New York style hot dog before they were going to catch their flight after the meal. Will overheard that, ran down the street, grabbed a New York style hot dog, brought it back to the chef. The chef plated it up all nice, and then presented it to the guests, and they were just like blown away.
Yeah, Daniel Hume is his name.
Yeah,
and he, Will, said, do this, and so he took it, he deconstructed it, and turned it into this like work of art.
Yeah.
Like white plate, several components, and all of it was, bread, hot dog, mustard. Like,
yeah,
so fucking cool.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
I mean, but that, like.
Yeah. And then he went on to talk about like all the experiences post that one about like, somebody forgot to get their kid like this teddy bear with "I love New York" on it, and then one of the servers ran out, grabbed it, brought it back, and then the dude left in tears. So like,
totally,
yeah, but granted, that restaurant, it's like a super fancy restaurant, right?
It's a 3 Michelin star.
Yeah,
they, for those of us in the industry, they do not take into consideration food cost, labor cost. I mean, the people that you're describing that are so, it's their restaurant isn't necessarily built the way ours is, where there's a server taking care of a table. It's almost a 1-to-1 ratio. There's one employee for almost every single guest. No shit. There's I think they call them captains, and then the captain has several assistants. And the assistants are all the way from, like we would call a busser to a food runner to, a floor manager. Like there's all these people. I've eaten there. I felt it.
Damn.
It's fucking it's a little stuffy. It's, like you can't, they just fuss over you. You're like, is everything okay?
Yeah.
Like it's just every time you move, I went to the ladies' room, I think twice in the several hours we were there, and they walked me to the bathroom every single time.
Damn.
I was like, take my arm, ma'am. I'm like, young man, I don't want to take your arm. I just want to go to the ladies' room, And, but anyway, so they have, I'm pretty sure their term is a wish maker or a wish maker.
A dream maker. Yeah.
And that person is on salary to, you make a reservation and they Google the shit out of you. And they want to figure out who you are, why you're here, your why.
That's crazy.
And I mean, but like, obviously we can't do that, right?
They Google the shit out of you.
We can't do that. Yeah. We want to, but we can't, and we don't. But take pieces of that, eavesdrop, listen, keep your ears open.
Yeah.
Did you hear somebody say it's their anniversary? Buy them a fucking drink. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
2 kids that look like they, are, this is their budget for the month. Let's buy that meal, right? Mm-hmm. Like it's just little things like that just make memories. Like I ate at Jean-Georges in New York City years ago, and me and my boyfriend at the time were celebrating something, and they overheard us. You want to know what they did? They bought us dessert. They bought us a bottle of champagne. I mean, like, and here I am 20 years later talking about it.
Yeah.
Like it just, and I didn't even know those words back then. I love the above and beyond, and it inspires me.
Mm-hmm. And it kind of, I already had this idea reading parts of that book and watching the videos, but it kind of made me really want to do it now with these sweatshirts. I want to just package them nicely, and I have a stencil of Lonely Cowboy. I want to put that on the bags, write a card, put stickers on it. So then when hopefully the goal is to sell out, right?
Yeah.
If we sell all of them, those, I don't know, 30-ish people, 20-ish people that get the sweatshirt, they're going to have the experience of opening it and then opening the card and seeing the sticker, seeing the handwritten note. So it's more than a sweatshirt.
Yeah,
you know?
absolutely.
It's the experience of coming to the restaurant, like the story behind the collab. And I think handwritten thank you notes are very underappreciated nowadays.
It's, good on you for that. Like the handwritten note is dying every single day.
Yeah.
Like, have you ever received a letter in the mail? You know what I mean?
I couldn't tell you the last time I have. Yeah.
And, that's crazy. Like, and for you, your instinct to be like, let's keep that going. That's special. And it's smart. And it's just a little, you didn't have to. That's the fucking point. You didn't have to, but you did. And, in that you made them feel special and you also felt special doing it because it gave you something. Yeah. I think that's what's cool.
I got to credit that to my mom because she made me write thank you notes all when I was a child for gifts. And I was like, I don't want to do this.
You will write a thank you note.
Now that I'm older, I'm like, damn, okay, I'm glad I did that. But Will was talking about in one of the videos, like, try and think about I'm going to butcher this phrasing, but every touch, there's something that can be added to, or like you can make it better. So if we're talking about the sweatshirt in a bag, unwrapping a little bow tie on the top, that's one touch.
Yep.
Opening the card, that's 2 touches.
Yep.
The sweatshirt, 3 touches, so there's little tiny things everywhere that you can make better.
Oh man, there were so many. Like, we went there, I ate there with Culinary Creative Group. It was Katie, Juan, Blake. It was right after, well, anyway, we all worked at Bardot still, but they gave us the menu. So they gave us this little tin. It almost looked like pomade or something. Yeah. Like it's this little tin like this big. And then you'd open it and this like paper doll thing open like this. And it was the menu that you chose because they would give you this menu and you had to choose out of 5 or 10 options your own journey.
Yeah.
So choose 1 out of 3, 1 out of 5, right? And they kept track of what you chose and then printed it on this fucking accordion paper and then put it in this tin box as a gift, which was then on top of a deli of, not a deli, obviously. It was like glass or some shit of granola so you could have breakfast thinking about them tomorrow. What? Get out of town.
Yeah, that's crazy.
And the whole thing was wrapped up like a Christmas present.
That's
and
nuts.
It was just like we talked about it for ages.
Yeah.
It was so fun. And there was like, it was just, I mean, what a huge, like that is the tier top 10 that the most hospitality one can get.
Yeah.
But what I want all you guys to take from that book is like, the hospitality can come in small packages like Fox and the Hen. Like, again, we can overhear you saying that this is special. We can overhear you trying to decide which one to do. And we just send the third one out. You know what I mean? Like, it's the little things, they add up and make us great.
Yeah.
And that's what I want for Fox and the Hen.
It's possible. I mean, Fox and the Hen is only not even 2 years old, which
not
is
even
crazy.
Yeah. 2 years in June.
So, I mean, let's get into that. What was the process like of starting Fox and the Hen?
It's an interesting road for sure. But long story short, I had been the chef at Bardot for 3 years. That's where I met Zach and all that started. And then Zach and I tried to go out on our own and open Rose's Classic Americana. We opened in Boulder. in 7 beautiful days until COVID shut us down.
Damn.
I know, dude. 7 wonderful days. And they were beautiful days. We were so busy and the food was so beautiful. And we were so proud. And Zach and I were vibing. We had the best time. And then 7 days, the first mandated shutdown. And so to summarize, 2 years later, I mean, Zach went and worked for Blake at the Osos, where he totally kicked ass and impressed everyone as usual. And Zach Stenslin, for those of you who don't know who we're talking about.
Chef Zach. He's been on the podcast a few times.
Yep. And but he went and worked for Blake, my partner in business and life. And but then Juan Padro, the CEO of Culinary Creative, asked if I would come back and be the director of Americana. And in that, overseeing the 4 Tappan burgers. And because Rose's was very burgers, salads, right?
Yeah.
Exactly. Well, not exactly, but similar to what the Tappan burgers were doing, or at least striving to do. And I said, sure. And so I was in that about a year and doing that. But then Juan said, hey, I got this call from Michael Fox. He's one of our neighbors. You probably met him before, but he just signed the lease at Ceviche on the corner and he wants to do breakfast. And I think you should partner. Damn. And I said, fuck yeah. Nice. I'd always wanted to do breakfast. Breakfast was always the goal. Rose's was open for breakfast. I've been a morning person my whole life. I've been an early riser and I really like to eat breakfast.
Yeah.
And it's just been fucking great. I love breakfast.
I don't think I would want to work at a restaurant that wasn't breakfast. Now that I've worked it, like the hours, you wake up early, you get out early, you have the rest of your day, and it keeps you like from going out till 3 a.m.
Keeps you honest.
Yes.
Yeah.
And
And it doesn't hurt that we have a no hangover rule.
Yeah.
No, I completely agree. I find myself when I do like events with other, chefs, peers, friends, whatever, they're like, how's it going? I'm like, I found the key to life. Like, open a fucking breakfast restaurant. Like, I've never, and I know I'm exaggerating, but I've never seen a sunset. I've never been out to dinner. I've never been to happy hour with my friends. And then all of a sudden I opened a breakfast restaurant and I'm living a normal fucking life. Like, I missed all that shit.
Yeah, for
real. I mean, I've just been in service, dinner service, my whole life, my whole adult life. And so, moving into the breakfast realm really opened a lot up to me, not only in my personal life, but, just what we could do. Fox and the Hen is exceeding all expectations in every way. So
yeah, that's huge.
It's great.
Is there any plans to open more?
Yeah, well, there's hopes. Culinary Creative Group, we're growing.
Yeah.
The restaurant group as a whole is definitely growing, and Fox and the Hen has been, it's boring words, but identified as one of the concepts that's scalable. And so that's a goal. However, CCG needs to kind of slow down a little. We opened so many restaurants so quickly. We need to kind of get our footing. Yeah. And so nothing's happening immediately, but 100%. We're going to see more of these and we're definitely pushing.
Nice. Did you grow up here?
I didn't, but I got to Colorado when I was 19.
Okay.
So I've been in Colorado longer.
And did you come here for school or to work at a restaurant?
I graduated high school and then I did 1 year at Boise State University, and I really didn't like university at all. It wasn't an easy fit for me. Yeah. And there was so much weed and boys. It was just nope. It was not a good fit. I was not a studious student.
Neither was I.
Nope, not good. Too many distractions and no parents. Get out. I should have never. And so I had some friends that had moved to Breckenridge, Colorado, and I grew up skiing. And I'm not being conceited or vain or anything, but I've always been a very good skier, and so I wanted to move to Colorado to pursue a life in ski. I wanted to ski. I just started snowboarding right after high school, and I just wanted to see where me being an athlete would take me. Yeah. So I moved to Summit County.
Damn, Nice.
Yeah.
And I've skied my whole life as well. And that was a big reason why I moved to Tahoe. But ironically, when I lived in Tahoe, I like barely skied. So when I moved out here.
Why? Because you just worked?
Yeah.
What were you doing?
I was a server at a barbecue restaurant.
And you just worked all the time?
So when I moved there, it was right before COVID, like 3 weeks before they shut down.
Okay.
Once everything shut down, the mountains weren't open. I was living at a hostel at the time. I moved back home for a month. And then once they lifted the ban, I moved back to South Lake. And nobody wanted to work. So I was working like 6 days a week.
Was
doubles.
it a breakfast joint?
No, this was like...
So you couldn't shred in the morning and then go to work at 11?
Well, the problem was I was working... Like, the people that were working at that restaurant, we were all pulling doubles, like, working our fucking ass off. So then after work, we called it Club Crows. It was kind of like CCG in a way where we were owned by a restaurant group.
Sure.
And we were all within, like, a block. So... And ours was usually the last one to close down. All the workers would come into our restaurant. We'd party till like 3 a.m.
No mask.
Yeah, no. Yeah. The mask came off when all the guests were out. And like Tahoe's a tourist economy. So everyone there doesn't know really what they're doing. They're kind of,
right.
Yeah, it's just
it's like
chaos.
It's like the outside world doesn't affect you.
Yeah.
Like I remember hearing about like, sorry, the word just escaped my brain, but like up in Breck, like you felt nothing.
Yeah.
Every day was exactly the same.
Yeah.
You're perfectly busy all the time.
Yep. All the time. And so, yeah, we partied and I just didn't really ski that much. And the winters are kind of hit or miss there, to be honest.
Really? I've never skied Tahoe.
It's beautiful. If you
I've been there in the summer. Like I drove not around the lake, but kind of around the lake.
Yeah.
But like, yeah.
Yeah, it's beautiful on a bluebird day, but there's times where you get 6 feet in 3 days, and then after that, there's nothing for like 3 months.
Yeah.
So when I moved here, I wanted to make it a point to like really try and ski as much as I could because I don't think I'll be in Denver forever. I want to be here for
okay. So my question is, and I've said this to Zach before too, like. If you want to be a ski bum, why the fuck are you living in Denver? Why aren't you living in Breck or Vail or Crested Butte or Steamboat or something?
Well, I've already lived the mountain life. I don't want to live that life anymore.
What did you not like about it?
The tourists. Too many tourists.
Go on. What's wrong with tourists?
You're just... Oh, my camera's about to go out. When you're surrounded by tourists all the time, every day, it's kind of hard to, like, you have your community of people that live there, but it's frustrating when a lot of the tourists, one, don't respect the place that you're in.
Right. They
don't respect the workers. Now, I'm not saying all the time, but a lot of the time they don't. They like a typical tip there was probably 10%. Yeah.
Why? Were you on the Reno side or in the Nevada side?
My restaurant was, no joke, probably 300 yards away from state line. I was on California side.
You're in the California side.
Once you hit state line, it's just casinos. Like literally there's a street that separates it.
I mean, I hear that. Like working in a tourist town is difficult. And I remember many times, like, I'm not talking about you. I'm just saying kids. These kids in general would be like, fucking tourists. And I'd be like, who do you think pays your fucking bills?
Yeah. No,
right? Like, you have to take the good with the bad.
Yeah, for
and
sure.
so you're not, in my opinion, you're not allowed to be like, well, and you don't live there anymore. So it's fine. You did the right thing by being like, this isn't for me.
Yeah.
Right? But like, you moved to that town too.
Right? Oh, yeah.
You're there visiting too. You just decided to stay longer than a hotel stay.
Yeah.
And it's important to remember who's paying the bills.
Yeah.
So, like tourists, they're silly. And somehow when you go on vacation, how do you lose your mind so hard? How do you forget your manners?
It's crazy.
It's crazy, right?
Like, the worst part was in the summers. This is what really got the locals like pissed off. You would go on the beach and there'd just be parties everywhere. And then once everyone left, you just see this fucking mountain of trash. Yeah.
Dude.
And it's like Tahoe is one of the most beautiful places on earth. And when it's covered in trash, it's heartbreaking to see.
And it's so like, and you know what's going to come because of that is regulation.
Yeah.
So they're going to stop the beach parties, which make the locals' life valuable, right? You want to be there because you want that engagement. Like when I moved to Breck, you used to be able to ski uphill, especially at night on the ski area. Right?
Damn.
It was so fun. Well, you could just skin up and then ski down.
Yeah.
And, you know, regulations because people got fucked up, got hurt, I don't know.
Yeah.
All the shit. And that was like some of the best shit ever. It was like being able to go. I had this housemate. This is such a cool story. He did the midnight shift, the midnight to 8 a.m. shift, and he drove the cats that groom the runs. Mm-hmm. And this one particular time, he was like, how many friends you got? I was like, I don't even remember, 10. There's 10 of us. He's like, all right. So he rallied 10 snowcats to meet us at this spot in Breck at midnight. And each cat picked one of my friends up, and they drove us all the way up the mountain in the pitch ass black, and then dropped us all off at the top. And then we all just took this epic run in a full moonlight.
That's nuts.
It was so fun, but it was like,
can't do that now.
well, I mean, that's just some local shit. Like
Yeah.
you should be able to, if you're going to live up there, you have to be able to have, local status, right? And those are certain things that just like locals do. There's secrets that make it's like treasure, you know, like that make it, you know, this is why I live here because this is my community and this is what we do for each other.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah.
Do you think you'll ever go back home and
To
live?
Breck?
No, not Breck. Like
Idaho?
Yeah.
No. I tried to move back to Idaho over 10 years ago now, but I tried. I'm not from Boise, but I went to Boise State, like I said, but I tried to move to Boise and I only made it 6 months. They just weren't ready for me.
Yeah.
I was chef in this restaurant. I opened this restaurant and my ideas, my values, dare I say, and definitely my cuisine, they just weren't ready for.
Yeah, I get
and I know that sounds maybe a little conceited or something, but it's a little redneck still.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of parts of America just aren't ready for
They just
big change.
Well, and they just weren't ready. You know, they still want their app entree dessert. That's how I'm gonna eat dinner, and that's not how I'm gonna serve you dinner. You know, like I've evolved into a, you know, especially when it comes to dinner, you know, running a restaurant and stuff. But like, it's app entree dessert is not my personality, my model. And so Boise just wasn't quite ready for me.
Interesting. So at what point did you, because this is a huge part of your story and I didn't, well, let me preface this. So when I met Zach, we met through our mutual friend, Kat, and we met at the restaurant. And I remember our first conversation, like he was introducing you were away on a trip or something. And he was like, yeah, our chef was on Top Chef and Beat Bobby Flay. And like, I didn't realize how tight knit the culinary world was. Cause like, to me, like my world is the tattoo world. You know, I know that a lot of the tight knit things about the tattoo world, but to people outside of it, they don't understand that. Like, so were you at Bardot at the time when you did both of those shows?
Both shows, Top Chef and
Beat Bobby Flay?
Yes, I was.
Damn. Were they pretty close together?
Yes. I mean, within a 2-year span. I think we wrapped Top Chef in 2017. And I did Beat Bobby Flay in early 2019.
So right before COVID.
Uh-huh. Yep.
Nice.
100%.
Okay.
Yep.
And then, damn, what is like, how does one get approached for that? Does someone like come into Bardot and it's like, hey, you want to go on a show?
I think my story, I think at least at the time it was a little unique. But I was the chef at a restaurant that's now closed, not Bardot. It was my first executive chef job. And it was just in the Lowhigh, just off of Tennyson.
Okay.
It's not there anymore.
Yeah.
But I remember the day so clearly. We were having staff meal before service. We had staff meal at 4 and we opened at 5 or 4:30 or something. But so we're all just sitting at this high top and just like you do, just murmur, chatting. We're just eating. And the house line, the phone rang and the GM was like, Chef Carrie, there's a phone call for you. This person claims to be a producer from Top Chef. And we were all, and he said it in front of all 12 of us, you know, the whole staff. And we're all like, you know, some people are like, oh shit, you know, and I'm like, bullshit, you know, take a fucking message. Yeah. And he's like, no, dude, it sounds legit. You should take this call. And I was like, I'm fucking eating. You know, like, and so, you know, I get up and I take the call and, sure enough, yeah, it was legit. They found me on Instagram. I probably had 500 followers, maybe, you
That's
know,
crazy.
I know. So my mentor, Jennifer Jasinski, she was also a Top Chef, but she's also more importantly, by far, she's a James Beard Award winner. And, but she had been interviewed the year before for your best meal of the year. And she said the meal that I fed her at Brazen, that restaurant, her and her husband, Max, who's now our partner and my boss and my friend. And, but they had sat at the chef's counter, and she said the best meal they had that year was sitting at that chef's counter with me. Damn. And I was like, wow, thank you, Jen. Like, you're my mentor. Like, I learned so much from you. I worked for her for 4 years, and, you know, for a line cook all the way up to a sous chef. And anyway, so I think my guts say that put me on the radar just in media in general.
Yeah.
And then I got that phone call, and trying out for Top Chef is a booklet about this thick. It's no joke.
Damn.
You have to back then you had to make a video. They came to Denver and like you had to cook for them and you had to fill out all these questionnaires and blah, blah, pictures, whatever. And actually I didn't get cast the first year. I gotta know, even after they flew me to LA and made me sit like this in front of producers that you would recognize. Like I was like, I've seen you before, like, just on TV, like just producers at Bravo, and they make you sit in the middle, and it's so fucking scary. And they put you in this airport hotel room. And anyway, I didn't get cast, and I was really upset. I was like, I put a lot of fucking time into that. They were like, sorry, and literally a year to the day, they called back and said, would you apply again? And I was like, sure, but I was jaded. So I didn't do shit. I literally changed the dates. And I resubmitted the same everything. I did nothing.
Dang.
And sure fucking enough, I got cast.
Damn.
Yeah. But I think, you know, hindsight 2020, I think that they knew that Colorado was the next season.
Okay.
Or somewhere in my casting process, because my boy brother Luck down in Colorado Springs, his story was the same, that he went through the whole casting process all the way to LA, all the way to producing, blah, 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 to be told, nah, you're not the right fit for this year, because we would have been sent to Charleston, which I know nothing of Southern food.
Yeah,
so it was a good move on the producers there to make us sit out a season and then bring us back for the Colorado.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
And when you're cooking on Top Chef, is that like some of the most high stakes, high pressure performing as a chef that you've ever been under? Are you kidding? The only.
I mean,
yeah, but like, you know,
the only thing I've ever done is like 20 seats, you know? I mean, don't get me wrong, like Rioja used to do 300 covers in my heyday, but there were fucking 8 of us.
Okay.
And
gotcha.
Top Chef, it's like, I can't explain how I'm able to turn it off when there's a camera. Like, For some people, all they can see is that camera.
And
okay.
I feel the same way when I'm podcasting. It does
not scare me.
Yeah.
I forgot yours was there now.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, I can't explain how my heart rate doesn't go higher. You know what I mean? Like,
have you always been like that?
My hands don't shake. Well, I can't say I've ever been in that fight or flight situation many times, but I like, don't get me wrong, I get nervous, of course.
Yeah.
But like when push comes to shove and they, on Top Chef, they brief you zero, right? They want you to be nervous. They want you to be scared. So they don't tell you shit. They just open the door and push you out and the lights are bright and everybody's looking at you. And like, it's total, as Brother Luck put it, emotional terrorism. It is insane.
Dang.
But I don't, there's no way to prepare for that. And I don't know why I have whatever I have that doesn't make me scared.
Interesting. Because I've kind of been the same way about, like, you put a camera in front of me, I'm not going to change who I am,
Yeah.
And when I first started doing podcasts and video stuff, I was way more nervous than I am now. Now I'm at the point where, like, I still get nervous.
Sure.
But I know I've done this 100 times.
Yeah.
So but I have had guests on the podcast where I can tell I start press record, they change.
Totally.
And it's like, fuck, man, it's not that deep. Just
totally
be yourself.
Well, I remember after Top Chef, they don't make it anymore, but bless these two guys, Greg Hollenbach and his partner Jay, his podcast. But anyway, I'd never done, and it was live radio on iHeartRadio, and I had never done anything.
Damn.
And they actually helped me set up my first Instagram post. Well, not my first, but like I had Instagram, but like I didn't engage very much. I just didn't care.
What year was this?
2015, 16.
So that's like right at the start of when Instagram was cool.
Totally.
Yeah.
The very beginning. Like it not weird that I wasn't that engaged, right? And they were like, "What? Let me see your phone." And I remember before I went, and we were recording live at the Stanley Marketplace out in Aurora. And I was like, I am so nervous. I'm freaking out. And they were like, "Girl, you're crazy. Like, it's fine. It's radio." I'm like, "Oh my God, even worse." I'm just going to hear my voice. And like, I probably the most annoying voice ever. And I didn't know what to do with my hands.
Yeah.
It was so scary, and they just assured me, just as you just said, like, it's really not that big of a deal. Like, you're gonna do fine. Just like stay present. People can hear your smile. Shit like that. Yeah. Like, really scary.
The biggest thing I think I've taken away from podcasting so much is like, it's one, humbling. You realize how many people do not give a fuck about you when you do it for so long, and like anything I say here, it's not going to matter and tomorrow, like no one is going to be nitpicking everything you say. There's going to be comments that are negative. Like the other day so do you know what YouTube shorts are?
Yeah.
So I posted a short and some dude commented like something along the lines of, "That's trash. I drew that in second grade."
Oh my! That's probably a fucking bot or something,
no,
right?
No. The handle, I don't even want to say it because it's kind of offensive. But I looked at the handle. I'm like, dude, I feel bad for you, man. You're just wasting your time shitting on people,
right? Just like, and they're probably like super normal people who are just like venting, being mean.
Yeah.
When Top Chef was, filming or airing, film whatever, we wrap and then it airs a couple months later, maybe even a year later, I don't know, but I got some hate.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember just being like, it took the oxygen out of the room.
Yeah.
I have never, I'm a pretty agreeable person. I like to think I'm nice, and I generally try never to hurt feelings. I'm not like, but like some people said some shit.
Yeah.
And it threw me for a fucking loop. And that you can't like rebuttal.
No,
you know what I
nothing
mean?
he can
like
do.
you just say some shit, and like if I engage you, then
you're the bad guy.
Well, and like it's not going to go anywhere. There's no reasoning to somebody who's not behind the fucking words.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? They just say some mean shit to make you feel something. And I remember Juan kind of talking me down, just being like, hey man, like, you're cool. Like you don't know this person. You don't know like what their fucking motivation is. If it's even a human, who fucking knows?
Right.
But like, it's hard. It's to have people say mean shit to you is really, really hard.
You gotta have thick skin.
And
you gotta have thick skin.
Thick as you may become, it still hurts. But you get to the point where, well, I hope you never get to the point where you just stop reading the comments. Always read the comments. And then
I disagree.
Really?
Yeah. I think it will. For the podcasters and creators that I've looked up to, and like I hear them talk about the same conversation we're having, they get to a point where they will stop reading the comments because it affects them so much. And
I hear that. And I've never put out a podcast either. Yeah. So like I get the majority of the feedback of artistic things that I put out in the world are positive.
Yeah.
And when I get a negative, I got a team of 50 behind me. Yeah. So, I hear you, but like, you got to take the good with the bad a little, right?
Right. How funny is that though, when someone says something and then you just have 50 people coming at their throats?
Like, I'm a fucking killer.
For real though.
Like, it's so true. Like,
yeah.
And I mean, you can't win them all, guys.
That is funny.
It's so true. It's so true.
Should we take a break and grab another?
I'd like that.
Cool.
Am I holding it close enough?
Yeah. Perfect.
Okay.
You can hear it in your, like when I go like this.
Right? It's too far away.
Yeah.
You should make Reese be your boom guy.
No.
Hold it up over you.
The ones they use for like movie sets, they pick up so much audio.
Dude, like, if that's something you want to talk about, the actual production of Top Chef was so interesting. How much time it takes to light and audio and camera place. And I mean, it was fucking reality TV, so it was supposed to be kind of like, but like, holy cow. Like, it takes hours, to do like a 5-minute shot.
Yeah. And see, that stuff I geek out about because in professional podcasting, like a lot of people don't know how much goes into it. You have 3 cameras set up that are all connected to the producer's table. And every time someone like switches, like if I'm talking, the producer can press a button, the camera switches to me. Live recording, and then it switches there.
What is your favorite podcast right now?
That I listen to?
Mm-hmm.
It's going to sound cliche, but Joe Rogan.
I've tried. Why are they so fucking long?
Because he gets deep.
Dude, like,
he gets real deep.
I don't have 2 hours and 45 minutes.
I mean, you don't have to listen to the whole thing.
I know, but like, it's just like, if you just play it, and then next thing you know, you're 4 weeks behind.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, his content is insane.
Yeah.
And don't get me wrong, when he has somebody interesting to listen to, I'm down.
Yeah.
But like, it's too much. I prefer the short and sweets. I want a beginning and an end.
It's rare that I listen to Rogan all the way through. But yeah, he just has such a wide variety of guests. Like one day you could be listening to a comedian, the next day you could be listening to like an expert on fucking beekeeping.
Donald Trump.
Yeah. You could be listening to Bernie, then you could be listening to like what's it called? Conspiracy theorist on the pyramids. Like he just talks to everybody.
He makes one like 5 to 7 days a week.
Yeah, probably. I would guess 5.
Yeah,
which is crazy because
I mean that's a news like show.
Yeah,
I mean it's the Daily Show, right?
And if you were to listen to like He was talking about his early days of podcasting. It kind of reminds me of myself. I'm not comparing myself to Joe Rogan.
Oh, you're almost there, babe.
But when he talks about his early days, he's like, I never expected this to be this big. I just did it because I was having fun, bullshitting with my friends.
I mean, the Joe Rogan I grew up on was Fear Factor.
Yeah.
And he's chubby.
Yeah. Yeah. And he's just such a fucking wild dude.
Yeah. I don't know.
I don't know how you can talk to someone for 5 days for 3 hours a day. So what's that? 3 times 5? That's 15 hours of your week just talking on a microphone.
I mean, but it's unscripted.
Yeah.
They just sit down and talk shit.
Yeah.
Right? Like his producers might be doing some.
He only has one producer. His name's Jamie.
That you know about.
No.
I mean but that's just the thing. Like you can do whatever you want, right?
Yeah,
so there are people. I mean, Joe Rogan podcast has been number one for so long that there is so much money thrown at it. So he's. I'm not saying he's disingenuous. He's not. He is who he is, and he's doing what he's not genuine. But like, it's just he's just sitting down and talking shit, and people are like I think that's where. Well, I'm gonna stop there. That's enough.
Well, I'm gonna rebuttal a little bit because he's not in some of his episodes. He is talking shit for sure, but I don't know why this example is popping in my head. But he had this lady that was just a master of beekeeping, and they just talked about bees for 3 hours.
So cool. It's so cool. And bees aren't they the coolest?
They're crazy. Bees are wild.
The next step of my homesteading is beekeeping.
That'd be sweet. And doesn't like one hive produce a crazy amount of honey?
I wouldn't say crazy, but
enough
for a family of 4. Yeah.
Yeah. Bees are wild.
Bees are very fucking cool.
Well, let's pivot off of bees.
Pivot off of Joe Rogan.
So what was like one core memory you have from Top Chef where like you will never forget this instant during that show?
Can I give you a 2-part answer?
Yeah, for sure.
Okay. So the first one will be an off-camera memory, which is so funny. At our cast house, they had us in this mansion in Cap Hill.
That's sick.
And they had retrofit this home with like the master suite. The primary suite was had I guess 4 bunk beds, so 8 beds. And then 2 twins, just so 10 beds in the primary suite.
Yeah.
And then, anyway, at the time there were 16 contestants, right? So they were all and they don't tell you where to sleep. You just like fill in. They're like, run to your bedrooms, and so like it's you go and anyway. I ended up in this room with 3 dudes with a CPAP machine on the top fucking bunk. And I was just like laying there the first night, like, what have I done? And anyway, so fast forward a couple of weeks, one night, so after everyone got eliminated, they just kept moving everyone into the primary suite. So by the end of it, there were 6 of us and no other bedrooms. And one night in 60 days, I went to bed with just a t-shirt and no bottoms on. I was so tired. It's a long t-shirt, right? Yeah. It's like a baseball long shirt. But one night I was like, I took a shower, and I crawled right into bed without any bottoms on. And so just wearing my t-shirt. And that fucking morning at dawn, I get this shake and there's a camera and Padma looking at me and they're like, wake up, it's a breakfast challenge. And I was, again, in the top bunk. Yeah. So to get down, I have to like slide my body down this fucking ladder. And so my shirt comes up to like,
oh my.
And I was like, you have to leave the room so I am indecent. You have to get out of here so I can get out of my bed. they did it, but they agreed that I could only put my feet down and put sweats on, and then I had to wait for them to come back so they didn't miss the shot.
Oh my!
And gosh. I remember after my mother watched it, she goes, "There was one morning, Carrie, where your hair was like this big because I had gone to bed with wet hair."
Oh my God.
And my curly ass hair was like this big, and that was the breakfast challenge that I won doing the Eggs Benedict.
Damn.
But originally I had gone down with no undergarments on, and I was like, I am very uncomfortable. You have to let me get a little dressed.
That's crazy. I didn't know they were filming parts of the show in where you were staying. That's
my
nuts.
gosh, yeah. Well, I mean, if you watch Top Chef in the olden days, they would have like night cameras, kind of very Big Brothery, night vision.
Yeah.
They didn't do that to us. They would take us back to our mansion and film us like around the fire, like decompressing, congratulating, consoling, eating, drinking, and then they would leave. And then that was actually the best part of Top Chef, is after they would leave, we would be there alone. And we would, get to know each other and have a nice time and cook for each other and just be regular people. And that was the best part.
Was there any point on the show when they were filming and you were hungover?
Yes. Heavy yes. Heavy yes. They encourage alcohol intake. There's alcohol available. Actually, at one point, I think we started to get a little too drunk, and they removed hard alcohol from our what's called the stew room.
Okay,
that's where, just like we're sitting now, we would have just finished a challenge and sat down and sat here, and there would be cameras behind the couch, cameras in front, and we would sit here and talk about it. And there would be producers kind of, if you weren't saying the right things, they would kind of be feeding you like, ask Kellen about the peppers. You'd be like, Kellen, what'd you do with the peppers? But at one point they removed the alcohol. And I remember my girlfriend Fatih, we were at this, we were doing an episode and there was a bottle of whiskey and she's like, Carrie, put it in your bag. And I was like, absolutely not. I'm a good girl. I've never stolen anything in my whole life. I'm like super rule follower. And I was like, no, just put it in your fucking bag. And so because I had this bag that I carried chapstick and nothing else in. And anyway, I put it in there and I hid it in my because you live out of your suitcase. You don't get to unpack or anything.
Yeah.
And when we got back the next day, and the cameras left, we were so excited to get into our whiskey, and we go and look at my bag and it's gone. And the handlers that lived in the house with us, I was like, there was something in my bag. And she's like, oh, I found your whiskey. And I was like, you went through my stuff? She's like, it's my job to go through your stuff every single day, and everyone's stuff. I go through everyone's stuff every single day, make sure there's no contraband, make sure you're all staying true.
Damn.
Yeah, that's intense. They do not want you messing around.
That's nuts. Jeez.
Contraband.
So what was the second part?
Ooh, okay, a couple. David Kinch, one of my all-time favorite chefs, California. He was a judge. He wore this velvet sport jacket over a t-shirt with all stars, and he just judged a quick fire. But I was like, David Kinch is here. Fuck. And I'm just looking at him this, oh. And Curtis Stone, same thing. Wow. Witty, huge human being in every way, just towering over us. Mm-hmm. And he was there, and he's so handsome and so accomplished. And then, Paul Liebrandt, Wiley Dufresne, fuck. I mean, I met some star power, which is really cool.
Nice.
Unfortunately, Anthony Bourdain had already passed, but he was in big rotation for Top Chef. I wish I could have met him.
Yeah, that would have been cool.
Really
Didn't
cool.
you judge Top Chef too?
I did.
How was that?
It was great.
Nice. So that's like a whole different experience.
Oh man,
You're
totally
living the life.
Oh, high class. They pay you.
Wait, they don't pay you to go on the show?
Oh no.
What?
Actually, shout out to CCG for that. When I got cast, I had only worked at Bardo I was literally the pantry cook. I was a part-time. They didn't know me for shit. I mean, Max and I had known each other for many years because he's a Summit County guy too. And they didn't know me. And I got cast and I was like, Max, what do I do? If I've been cast on Top Chef, I need 2 months, but I can't financially take 2 months off. Mm-hmm. So what do we do? And he was like, he took it to Juan and Katie and they agreed to pay my salary for 2 months without me being there. I mean, obviously, I think they're smart people.
The return on investment is fucking
ROI
huge.
Really good. Assuming that I didn't go out first. And, so they took a leap, and which is super cool. And I'm forever grateful for that. But yeah, they don't pay you shit.
Damn.
The only way you make money is if you win. And I actually earned a lot of money because I won a lot of episodes. I won a lot of challenges. Behind Joe Flam, who won my season, I think I was probably the number one monetary winner. Yeah. But yeah, no, they don't pay you shit.
So if you win a challenge, you make money.
Sometimes they'll differ. Sometimes be like, you win this, it's $10,000. Like,
damn.
I won one and it was $10,000 and tickets to the Super Bowl.
Damn.
Yeah, I saw the Eagles beat the Patriots with Chris Scott, my boy, Philly. Woo, go Birds. And
I'm a Bills fan, so that Super Bowl made me very happy.
Well, we were there.
That's so
at
sick.
kickoff, it was -22, so fuck you, Minnesota.
Holy shit.
Dude, it was fucked. It was really scary. Like,
damn.
And Chris Scott, I mean, he's from Philly and he lives in he lives in Brooklyn, but like, we know what cold feels like.
Yeah.
And that was insane. -22.
Yeah, that's fucked up.
If you're outside for more than a handful of minutes, you're dead. Yeah. Smoke town. Like, no. So that was, but yeah, we saw a Super Bowl.
Dang. So judging, let's get back to the judging part. So were you judging like every episode? Was it just one episode?
I was asked to be a judge during COVID. So it was 2021.
Yeah.
It was during COVID. It was the Portland season. So there's about 16 episodes to a season, and I did 8 because it was COVID. So what Bravo did is they rented this whole hotel. They put contestants on the top floor, judges, producers, staff, blah, 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 every floor all the way down. We get tested for COVID every single day.
Dang.
And my room was right off of the elevator. So every morning at 7 a.m., she would knock and she would put that thing up my nose, up into my brain every fucking day before breakfast or coffee or anything. And you weren't allowed to leave your room unless you were escorted. And then eventually when you were testing negative, you could move around the hotel, but only there was a dining room, like a restaurant bar in the bottom floor. And then, but that's as far as you could go.
Damn.
Within the building, unless you were within a car. Dude,
what a time that was.
You'd have to have a handler take you for a walk.
Oh my God.
and dude, Portland, Oregon was crazy at the time. There were riots. There were riots on this side.
Oh, that's right.
And there were wildfires on this side. So I should actually share you some photos if you do photos to accompany your podcast. But like, I went to culinary school in Portland, Oregon, and I lived there for 2 years. I had never seen air quality anything like this. Like, the wildfires were like the densest fog you've ever seen. And then there'd be a fucking riot parade shouting horrible things. Like, it was really scary, actually. Damn. And to be, not with your family and friends, but with this production company, and they're there to take care of you, but they
Yeah.
take care of you by not letting you do anything. They take care of you by keeping you quarantined. Like you are under no circumstance are you allowed to go outside right now.
That's insane.
Crazy.
I had to evacuate from South Lake because of wildfires.
Yeah.
So I've lived that for a whole summer.
Yeah.
Air quality was like 500. Could not go outside for more than 10 minutes. I remember it was when I was working at the barbecue restaurant. Once, like probably a week out from our evacuation, we were serving guests while there was ashes falling from the sky onto food. Outside, yeah. We were like, what are we doing? Why are we doing? Why are we still open right now?
What's going on?
Yeah, that's nuts.
It was nuts. It was like, should we be here? Should we be doing this? Yeah. And those poor contestants, like, I mean, bless their heart. Now, several of them are good friends, but like, those poor kids got the short end of the stick.
Yeah, for sure.
Living in a fucking hotel. One of the best parts of doing Top Chef was, living like you were at summer camp. Wish it was fun.
That's how I felt living at a hostel.
Totally. So fun.
Yeah.
So fun. We had such a good time.
All right. So post Top Chef, about 2 years later, you do Beat Bobby Flay. And that's just one episode, right?
Yep.
So what was that experience like compared to Top Chef? Because that's 2 months of your life.
Yeah. Totally different. Yeah, I mean, imagine. Bobby Flay, let's just put it on record that he is brilliant and so smart. So Bobby Flay Productions owns Beat Bobby Flay. Food Network does not.
Okay.
This is like, not everybody knows this. I mean, it's not a secret, but he just doesn't share it. But it's called Rock Shrimp Productions. But so what he does is he has this studio in Hell's Kitchen where he puts all the money up. He has production staff that finds contestants, that writes episodes, that does all the shit. And then they fly you in, they put you up, and he films, I think they said 6 weeks a year, 2 episodes a day.
Damn.
3 episodes or 3 seasons in that block. And he only does it for, 6 to 8 weeks a year. So then I was something like season 22 or something, like something big. Yeah. But so this genius man, like, he brings you in, he pays all the people up here. Those are all actors. They get $50.
Damn, that's cool though.
I mean, they get $50 to sit there and cheer you on. But it takes 6 hours, and then but it was so fun. They fly you out, they put you in a hotel, and then, well, for me, so okay. Side note, double high five for Bobby Flay, because one of my girlfriends from Top Chef, Fatima, she passed away.
Okay.
She died of cancer, and so we all were gathering in Williamsburg for her memorial. And it just happened to coincide with my Beat Bobby Flay shoot. And so I reached out and I said, hey, would you be willing to change my flight a day or 2 early so I can go to this? And they were so accommodating. They were so nice. They put me up in a hotel for the whole thing.
Nice.
So I could be there for Fati and her family and my Top Chef family and everything. Shout out to Bobby Flay and like all that for being so generous. But so I had to show up at 6 a.m. and turned out the guy I challenged, Lamar Moore, he's an old friend. So we were like, what are you doing here? What are you doing here? So Lamar and I we got to spend the day together, and then I beat the shit out of him. And then just kidding, Lamar, you did really good. So have you watched my episode of Beat Bobby Flay?
I have, but I watched it like right when I started working at Fox, because like I said, Zach introduced me to you in that whole culinary world, and I was like, what the fuck? So yeah, it's been a while, but I watched it.
Well, my guest judge was Seth Meyer.
Okay.
And so spending the day with Seth Meyers, is it plural? Seth Meyer. Yeah, Seth Meyer. Spending the afternoon with that, probably the most funny person. Like, I feel like I've been surrounded by funny people in my life, right? But his caliber of personality is, I mean, every single thing that comes out of that dude's mouth is just completely elevated from anything I've ever met as far as funny goes.
Yeah.
And I feel like I've met funny people, right? Like I have funny friends, you know, you're funny. I think I'm funny. But like this dude was just on a different caliber that like you've never even...
There's levels for sure.
Holy shit. There's a reason that he is where he's at.
Yeah.
Because like he's the smartest motherfucker you ever met.
Damn.
And he was so funny. And he roasted Lamar so hard. I mean, so hard that hours later I was like, hey, Lamar, what are you doing? He was like, dude, Seth Meyers just asked me to his dressing room to apologize for how hard he went at me. God. And I was like, are you serious? And he was like, totally not necessarily, but he did it because he sent it. He was just teasing him for trying to beat the toast queen. And like,
damn, that's nuts.
It was so funny. But yeah, Seth Meyers, wow, what a babe. In all the ways.
So then you beat Bobby Flay.
So then I beat Bobby Flay.
Which is a huge deal.
Yeah, not very many people do. Low percentage.
Yeah. And I mean, a lot of our guests, so many of our guests ask like, is this the dish that beat Bobby Flay?
Yeah.
Even though it's in the name. But yeah, and then they ask like the story. And the craziest thing to me when I first started working at Fox is how many people ask for like, they're like, is Chef Carrie here? Is Chef Carrie here? I'm like, what world did I just enter? Because like I said, I had no idea about the culinary world. And like, to me, it's just not something I grew up on. Buffalo food, the best restaurants in Buffalo are run by high schoolers.
What?
Like our the most famous wing spot in Buffalo. A lot of my friends work there and they make fucking bank. But there's also people under them that are literally high schoolers making the most famous wings in the country, arguably, you know? Yeah. So Buffalo, as far as culinary goes, just isn't a huge thing, you know? So then I came out to Denver and Zach he's like, have you ever had this? I'm like, what the fuck are you talking about, dude? He's like, all right, I'm going to take you to some restaurants. We're going to have some good food, stuff you've never eaten. And it's true. I've eaten at a lot of amazing places here. Food that I would never, ever order myself. But
that's important to push yourself.
Yeah. My palate has grown exponentially since moving here. But back to Beat Bobby Flay. So that happens. And at that time, so in Top Chef, you got the okay to go do this from CCG. They helped you out. 2 years later, Beat Bobby Flay. Are you still at Bardot at that time?
No. Maybe.
Or at that point, are you now the director of
I'm
Americana?
Still, I think I'm still at Bardot, but we're in plans to open Rose's Classic Americana.
Okay.
And then, again, shortly after COVID, which is like the ultimate bookmark of all time. Like,
yeah, for real. And we lived through it.
Dude. Yeah. I remember it was my birthday and we went to Puerto Rico, me and my big sister and her family. And we were literally the last plane back into the country in March of 2020.
Damn.
Maybe not literally the last plane, but we were fucking close.
You're cutting it.
We cut it. Yeah. We were like, and I remember like everybody started putting masks on. I'm like, I'm not doing that. Yeah. I'm not wearing a fucking mask. Yeah. And then it became like a mask advocate, like.
I was in Bangkok when all that went down.
Ooh.
Before it even got to the States. So like I remember being in Bangkok airport and people were freaking out. And I called my mom and she's like, yeah, we're chilling.
You should probably come home though. Yeah. Get on that flight.
Yeah, for real. But at that point I ran out of money. So that's when I moved to Tahoe and got that hostel job. So when you left Bardot and you started Rosie's, you became the director of Americana for CCG, and for those of you who don't know, CCG is a restaurant group that owns, I can't name them all, but a lot of restaurants in Denver, a few in New Orleans.
Correct.
And they don't have any other locations yet?
We're Denver and 2 in New Orleans.
Gotcha. So now that you don't have to, or I should say now that your role in the culinary world isn't necessarily like day-to-day in the kitchen, what does your day-to-day look like now?
Good question. I must say that when I took my director role, and I oversee 5 restaurants, right? So Fox and the Hen being one of them, which, you know, every parent says they don't play favorites, but Fox and the Hen is my favorite.
Yeah.
Let's call a spade a spade.
Yeah. I think everyone knows that.
Yeah. So, you know, one of the hardest things about becoming a director is like, for my whole life, I mean, we're talking kindergarten until I have had my name on a schedule and been told what to do, when to do, right? Mm-hmm. I mean, think about that. Like, school starts at 8, work starts at 3, right? Like, I have had my name on a schedule 5 to 6 to 7 days a week for my whole fucking life. And then all of a sudden I was cast into this director role, which I'm so excited to write menus and just touch people and like do all these things. And it was really fucking hard. And it's really hard still to figure out how to manage your time appropriately so you don't waste it. But so, you know, a day in my life, like, unfortunately, a lot of my time goes to the taps. Just because, you know, they have, you know, relatively high turnover and they need attention.
Yeah.
But, you know, I'm glad for it and I love the taps very much. But so I spend a lot of time there just like coaching and cleaning and cooking and teaching and stuff. And then as, you know, a partner in Culinary Creative Group, there's a lot of, you know, business things that go into my day. So I do a lot of meetings and and yeah, I don't know. But like I said, I generally miss just being a simple chef and line cook a lot.
Yeah. I've only seen you work the line one time. And
I nailed it, right?
You nailed it. But there was a time during Fox where you were playing manager, you were playing host, I
was the general manager for 6 months.
Yeah. But also, I think the thing that people who don't visit Fox realize is like, most likely the person greeting you is our GM or our AGM.
Correct.
I have never worked at a restaurant where it was like that. There's always been a host, but granted, I've never worked at a restaurant as busy as Fox.
You've probably never worked at a restaurant that has an $18.71 minimum wage.
That's true.
Because back in the day, when servers made $2.17 an hour, you could afford a fucking host.
Yeah.
But because we live in 2020... What year is it? 5?
5. Holy shit. That's crazy.
But because we live in 2025 Denver, who can afford support staff?
Yeah.
Like, that's why, I mean, it's a double-edged sword. It's really cool that our GMs and managers touch every table.
Yeah.
They see every guest. I'm so glad you're here, blah, blah, blah. But at the same time, like, it sucks that these people that we pay to, you know, drive sales, keep everything in check, they also have to seat fucking every table.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
and when you were our general manager and host, we were pretty short-staffed across the board. So I just remember, like, it's just wild to see, like, the guests coming into the restaurant, seeing you, and then they're like,
oh my God.
You're hosting us?
I think twice I almost had to go to the Heimlich for gum.
That is a priceless thing.
Like,
they would never.
Oh my God, you're here? I mean, it's my restaurant. Of course I fucking work here. Oh my God, you're real? Yes, you can touch me.
Have you ever had to take pictures of babies? Like
I've
Ricky
never
Bobby?
actually held a baby.
No.
But I did sign someone's chest at Bardot.
Nice. That's hilarious.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
You know the scene from Talladega Nights where Ricky Bobby signs the baby's forehead?
I'm going to make that a goal.
That is...
I will send you a picture when that comes to fruition.
Yeah. Hell yeah. That's so funny. Oh, man. What time are we at? We've been flying. 1:24. What time do we have to be at that thing?
I don't. She said she'll probably go on around 8.
Oh, Lord. Oh, yeah.
Do you edit this up?
Oh, yeah.
And then what is your goal time?
It depends. Typically, like, we're at 1:24 right now. 1:30 is the average range, but I think the longest podcast I've done is like 2:30.
Wow.
Because that camera will eventually die.
Right.
So
why don't you plug it in?
It's I don't think I can plug that
at the same
camera
time
in. Yeah.
Oh.
Eventually the goal is to have a producer so I don't have to worry about that or that. Because that's the most stressful thing. The amount of times I've started a podcast and then I look over, I'm with like one guest or back in the day, I would have 3 of my friends. I'd look over and see that button is green, which means it's not recording.
The red button.
The red button, yeah. So we'd
and
be
you're like 20 minutes in, like,
yeah, and then I have to explain to them, like, hey, guys.
No way, dude. You should never admit failure. Just be like, let me recap.
Yeah, let me just press this button. Yeah.
Yeah. He'll tap that shit.
Yeah. I feel so bad. So now
that
I'm like
sucks.
Very anal about it. I got to make sure that's red. I got to make sure that red button's there.
Well, we need to get you some sponsors. So, Miller High Life, I have some questions for you.
Okay.
So, you're from Buffalo.
Yep.
Are you a big Ani DeFranco fan?
I don't know who that is.
Unbelievable. What about Righteous Babe Records?
No idea.
Shout out to my girls.
No idea. If you're from Buffalo, I probably would get along with you great.
Seriously, you don't know who Righteous Babe Records are? Out of fucking Buffalo? Dilate. Let's go.
Yeah.
How many buffalo wings have you eaten in your life?
Oh, well, it's sacrilegious to call them buffalo wings.
Okay. Is it buffalo sauce or buffalo wings?
To us, buffalo wings don't exist and buffalo sauce doesn't exist. It's either hot, medium, or mild, and they're called chicken wings.
So what the fuck is a buffalo wing?
That's what the rest of the country calls them.
So you don't capitalize on buffalo sauce?
You will never go to a place in Buffalo that has buffalo sauce.
Okay, so if I'm a waitress in Buffalo
Yeah.
and you order chicken wings
Yep.
and I ask what you want them tossed in,
Yep.
what are your options?
Hot, medium, or mild, which would be your buffalo sauce, and barbecue, garlic parm, Cajun.
Okay.
You know, there's lists at different places.
Why doesn't the city of Buffalo lean into buffalo sauce?
Because it's it's hot, medium, or mild.
But isn't it the namesake of your city?
So at every wing place in Buffalo, your hot, medium, and mild is going to taste different. So like the most famous one, in my opinion, the best one, Barbell, their hot wing is going to taste way different than, let's say, Duff's hot wing or 9/11's hot wing. You know,
there's a restaurant called 9/11 in Buffalo?
Yeah.
Why?
Don't know.
How old is it?
No idea.
Okay.
Yeah. Or Elmo's. They're another famous one. But yeah, so every place has a different sauce, like a different buffalo sauce.
Okay, but nobody calls it buffalo sauce.
Nobody. So I used to make wings.
Okay, but I have more questions about that.
Okay.
Why?
I think.
Why can't you call it buffalo sauce? You're from fucking Buffalo, and it's your sauce.
But it's it's the principle of like, you can either get hot, medium, or mild.
Kellen, you're not telling me anything.
Okay, so let's just, when I made wings, mild sauce was 2 pumps of butter, 1 pump of hot sauce, Frank's Red Hot sauce. Medium was,
and that's it. You don't doctor it at all.
No, but this was at a wing spot that was like fast. It wasn't. They're not famous for wings. It was just a place. And medium was 2 pumps hot sauce, 1 pump butter. Hot sauce was just straight Frank's.
And that's not even that hot.
No, but at Barbell, the famous place, their hot sauce is like, that recipe is sacred. No one knows that recipe besides them.
I mean, the buffalo hot sauce at Tappenberger literally has fucking 16 ingredients in it. Yeah. One of which is Frank's.
Yeah. And
is Frank's even from fucking Buffalo?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Now we're getting somewhere.
You come out of the womb in Buffalo and you start drinking Frank's. Like that that hot sauce holds a special place in my heart. But I have tried many wings in many different places. There is nothing like wings from Buffalo. And it's just like specifically Barbell, they paint every wing with a paintbrush and sauce.
They don't toss?
Nope. Everything's painted on.
So does that mean it's like full coverage or less than full coverage?
Full coverage, painted both sides, and they're perfectly laid out with your wings on this side, or your flats on this side, your drums on this side.
We're going to need to do another podcast with Michael Mental.
Okay.
Because he also is from Buffalo. Yeah. That would be interesting because I'm really interested. Like, why not? Why not just toss the shit and set it on a tray?
It's not as good.
But to me, if you paint it on, you're missing the nooks and crannies.
It's not like they're just going one brush on both sides.
So some poor sap is literally like, whereas he could just be shaking bacon and then send it to you? They must not have a high minimum wage.
So this place that I keep referencing, Barbell, they're like Fox, where they're on a 3-hour wait, basically right when they open. It's a tourist place now. The locals go to the place across the street called Main and Hamlin.
Do they hand paint every wing?
They do not, but their wings are good. They're very good.
How much does a wing cost there?
When I was in high school, we could go to this place that they weren't the best wings, but 25-cent wing night, which was fucking awesome.
We used to have 25-cent wing up in Breck, and we had 25-cent beers and 25-cent wings, and we would like stack the Dixie cups as high as you could and like stack the nasty wings. Like,
yeah. Now a wing probably costs
$1.
No, more than that.
Really?
Yeah. You probably get 10 wings for like $16.
Yeah. But I mean, that's about common here too.
The other thing I've noticed about wings in Buffalo as opposed to other places, in Buffalo, they're big. Here, all the wings I've had in Denver are fucking tiny. Yeah.
It's more of a drumstick there.
Well, the drums and the flats, they're just way bigger. There's way more meat on the bone, the wings in Buffalo, as opposed to...
I wonder where they get their chicken.
Here. No idea, but they're delicious. And the perfect amount of crispiness, like, it is an art.
And hand-painted
hand-painted wings. If you want good wings, get bigger wings. You got to cook them perfectly. Hand paint the sauce. The best is the sauces that are on the menus at some of the restaurants. So like honey butter barbecue Cajun.
Yum.
Oh, so good. So good. Yeah.
I love it.
Buffalo's food culture is very much like football food.
Right.
Yeah.
I'm picking that up.
Yeah. Yeah. Pizza's thick, but it tastes good. It's just,
Thick like deep dish or like just like thick hand tossed?
Thick hand tossed.
I love that.
The what are they? Cup pepperonis?
Cupping.
Yeah.
Yeah. Those
pepperonis. And every place, if you order ranch in Buffalo, you will get shunned.
Yeah. I think I would like to see that. I mean, don't get me wrong. I love good dippins, but it has to be good, but I would like to normalize not dipping in ranch.
Yes.
Like, enjoy the bread, enjoy the sauce, enjoy. Not everything should taste exactly the same.
Mm-hmm. So every place, the big places there, they all do their homemade blue cheese. And
Nice.
yeah.
Oh, and you're allowed to dip your crust in that?
Oh, yeah. Blue cheese is...
Oh.
Yeah.
Way deaf.
Ranch is... Miss me with the ranch.
You know, a lot of people just take ranch and put blue cheese in it and call it blue cheese.
Ew.
It's true.
You can taste it, though.
I think you'd be surprised at how many people are fooling you.
I don't know. I'd be very disappointed if I found out that a restaurant I loved was faking blue cheese with ranch.
I mean, is it faking? It's still just mayonnaise, sour cream, buttermilk, and blue cheese.
I need the little crumbles of blue cheese in my sauce.
I mean, I didn't say they were pureeing it smooth. I'm just saying, oftentimes the base of that is just ranch dressing.
Ugh, that makes me sad. I don't.
Not all the time, just some of the time.
Well, okay, here's a question I got for you. What's your favorite place in Denver for food outside of CCG Group?
Hop Alley.
What's that?
My boy Tommy Lee. It's his second restaurant. His first is Uncle, which is right next to us.
Wait, Tommy Lee?
Not from Motley Crue.
Okay,
Dude.
I was like, hold on.
Yeah, you don't know Tommy Lee? No, Tommy Lee. He's a local guy. He owns Uncle, two uncles and one Hop Alley.
Gotcha.
And it's Chinese street food.
Nice.
It's in Rhino, just a couple blocks from Oso Rhino, and he's been number one in my book for like 5 years, dude. Like, I love it. He's got this Dan noodle that will knock your fucking socks off.
Hell yeah. Dan noodle.
Oh, man.
I have no idea what that means, but it sounds cool.
It's so good. And the Szechuan, like, it's like you've just been doing cocaine all night. Your tongue is so numb. It's so hot and everything's dripping. Like, it's just the most fun. It's really fun to eat. I really love eating spicy food amongst friends, eating spicy food and just having to drink low ABV beer to get it down. Like, it's like one of my funnest favorite things. Like, let's just eat spicy food and drink cheap beer. Like
that sounds horrible.
I love it. It's so fun.
Jesus.
Yeah. But yeah, Hop Alley, number one.
I think that's all. I don't have any other super important questions. Let's see. I'm very interested on the business side of restaurants.
Sure.
Because I've owned Lonely Cowboy now for 3 years. Yeah. Holy shit. December 2021. So basically 2021, 2022, 3 years. And I notice I try and pick up things like within every business, whether it's a restaurant or whatever. And restaurants always kind of interest me to learn about because there's the food costs, there's the labor costs, and obviously you have to cover that with the profit. So how difficult is it to like navigate hitting a certain percentage with food costs, hitting a certain percentage with labor costs, and then kind of gauging like, okay, we're in the month of January. We're probably going to be slower. So you're going to have to either cut food costs, cut labor costs in order to hit the same profit as we were in the summer when we're making fucking crazy money on the weekends, you know? Is that something that like it comes over time and you learn that because when you're an executive chef, you're handling inventory, right? For the food, you're handling, you're managing back of house labor. How do you navigate that? Because I see Zach do it. I'm like, damn, bro, that's not easy.
It's not. It's, running a restaurant is razor thin margins.
Yeah.
I mean, the best of the best maybe turn a 14% profit, which means if
That
you
is
made $1, you
crazy.
actually get to keep 14 cents in your pocket. Maybe. I mean, that's gold standard. 14%. Right? So, yeah. So be gentle to your local restaurateur. Like, it is
Yeah.
not easy. And anyone who has a ham puts it in your pocket. Like, it's fucked. But no, I mean,
That's the gold standard is 14%.
yeah. I'd say maybe average standard.
Holy shit.
Yeah. And, you know, your four-wall EBITDA, like, if you can hit over 40%, that's pretty fucking dope. And that includes everything that you can control within the four walls of your business, and your COGS, things that, you know, cost of goods, things that you can control. Salaried labor, I can control that. I can control my rent. I can control, you know, taxes and licenses and things like this. But things that I can't control, labor, food cost, right? Those things are.
So why can't you control labor? What about labor?
I can't control labor because I can't tell you that no matter fucking what, you clock out at 1 p.m.
Okay.
Right? I can control labor in the sense that I can write the schedule.
I
right?
see.
So this is a controllable, yes, but it still has a variable attachment to it. So I can schedule, but have you ever stuck exactly to the schedule as written?
Yeah.
Never. Not once.
You know, if
some days you leave early, some days you leave really fucking late.
Yeah.
You know, some days you don't come, some days you work an extra day, right? Like, you know, you can control salaries. You know, I know what I'm going to pay Zach every week. Right?
Yeah.
I know what I'm going to pay in rent. I don't know what I'm going to pay in electric. I don't know what I'm going to pay in motherfucking eggs this week. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like, it's so, and somewhere along the line, people decided that food should be cheap, and it's fucking not. And if you want to have an experience, if you want to have a hot sauce wall, if you want to have bottomless cups of coffee.
And good quality.
Yeah, and if you don't want to eat shit, if you want fresh food put together that has been cleaned and treated with respect and properly stored, and it's not going to give you the shits.
Yeah.
You know, it's just, it's tough. It's a thankless process.
Yeah.
And everybody thinks, oh, they put a 20% service fee and stuff like that. You know what that 20% service fee does? It makes the dishwashers and the line cooks make it a livable wage.
Yeah.
It doesn't do, I am not driving a Lexus. I do not live in a mansion. But my fucking dishwashers do, and I'm proud of that. Mm-hmm. And I'm happy, and it's worth every horrible Yelp review.
Yeah, fuck Yelp.
Dude, fuck it.
I hate Yelp.
I hate it so much. If I was a single entrepreneur, I would never even open it. ever.
That is one thing I really appreciate about Fox, because out of all the restaurants I've worked at, the food at Fox is by far the freshest and the most taken care of that I've ever seen. Like, it is night and day compared to some other restaurants I've worked at.
Yeah, I mean, we have good people. Zach has been, you know, he's just a godsend. He's loyal, he's committed, he's a pain in my ass, but I love him so much. And he does a great job, and, you know, and Blake taught him well. Yeah. You know, and yes, the answer is yes. We're not the cheapest place to eat in town, but I think we're damn near one of the best.
For sure. 100%. 100%. All right, let's wrap it up. What time is it? 6:30? Does that sound good?
It's pretty good.
Cool. If you've made it this far, January 25th, we are going to be releasing these hoodies at Fox the Hen. We haven't fully set a price yet, so I'm not going to say it.
Yeah, it's not going to be good.
But it's going to be it's going to be one of the best quality hoodies you've ever worn, and I'm not just saying that. They are like,
you were very meticulous in your selection.
Yes. We went through a process of finding blanks and finding the right one. So it's going to be high quality. It's going to last forever. And hopefully we'll see you then. Thank you so much, Carrie. Appreciate it.
You're welcome. Thank you for having
me. This was fun. Yeah. Catch you next time. Peace.